Tells him. So the Golden Globes,
they blend together.
Yeah, they do. So basically, they made It's like
that was a lot of money.
So the Golden Globes are embroiled in controversy again because last year there have been all these complaints that they don't have diverse enough committees as far as their voting blocks for what gets awards and what doesn't. The people that vote on who gets awards, who doesn't. And basically it is that they worked very hard to diversify the Golden Globes this year, and nothing changed as far as the voting blocks. They
announced women make up the majority of the Globes voters this year, standing at 52% female, and they're now majority ethnic minority with 51.5% of voters qualifying as racially and ethnically diverse. They're representing over 62 countries. Weird because it's the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. I don't know, like judging films from Hollywood.
Yeah.
But you're from other cultures. So
it's
last
all globalism.
Year, the Golden Globes faced scandal because
the Golden Globalists.
The Golden Globalists had a scandal because it was found out that they had no black members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association that puts on the event. Yeah. And so because of that and some bogus concerns about COVID risks, they decided not to televise the event. They had no audience. They had no red carpet. They just live tweeted the whole thing. And
that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. So they had to be very meticulous about selecting the group of voters this year. So apparently their diversity has backfired on them because this year the media is still scolding them. They have nominated way too many men.
Yep.
They are pushing aside social justice movements in favor of movies that made a lot of money at the box office.
It's almost like they're capitalists. It's crazy. No nominations for Till. Will Smith did not get a nomination for Emancipation.
No.
There was one for She Said.
That was for screenplay and score only, though. So
no, supporting actor. Carey Mulligan.
Oh, yeah. Supporting actress for Carey Mulligan.
Oh, by the way, though it is not a pretentious movie, none for Rings of Power either, guys. So
yeah, people were mad about that.
Well, they're gonna fix that next year with their all-female directing team, so we should be fine.
Women Talking.
Woman
Talking, which the title doesn't do it any favors.
Tell them about
got no noms.
Do you know what Women Talking is about? It is about the culture of...
It's a fundamentalist religious community reacting to our word.
Yes. Doesn't that sound like... Who goes to these movies?
I can't imagine wanting to see that. She Said made like $5 million.
I can understand that. Look, people are at different phases in their life. Maybe there are like some middle-aged housewives they're living a very different existence than me that just happen to find a subject like this to be very interesting. But I don't know how you get funding for something with such a narrow scope.
You get it from Brad Pitt. That's your answer.
Fair
For
enough.
She Said, at least. And then they made $5 million. I can't imagine that makes it all back.
Also,
right?
by the way, Top Gun Maverick got nominated for Best Picture, but no nomination for Tom Cruise for Best Actor. But he deserves it because he had his virtue signal last year where he found out all the stuff about the awards. And he gave back his awards because he's a douche. He's a very talented douche.
I never thought I would hear you say that. Well, I mean, your hero.
No matter what I say about his acting, I have always said that I love that he's doing the stuff that's supportive of the fans, but we all know it's still a form of pandering.
Sure.
But... Still a douche. He's just a douche that's making movies that I like.
People are also mad that the Best Director nominees this year are all male. Women, however, women have won Best Director last year and the year before that. Chloe Zhao got it for Nomadland in 2020.
Which did not help her when she made Eternals and then nobody cared.
Right. Jane Campion got it for The Power of the Dog last year. And now they're mad because a woman won't win Best Director 3 consecutive years in a row. Seems kind of outrageous to me. And then none of the 10 movies that got nominated for Best Drama or Comedy are directed by women. They're also butthurt about that.
Well, I mean, I understand that one because women aren't funny.
Right. But they are dramatic, so that's very shocking. Sorry, we're being over the top today.
Ladies, I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Also,
calm down.
The New York Post reported that the last Golden Globe ceremony that was televised had only 6.9 million viewers, which is less than an average episode of Young Sheldon. That is brutal.
But also, let's face it, like it goes beyond like diversity and stuff like this. People just don't want to watch rich people pat themselves on the back. They don't.
Right. I mean, people don't care about award shows at all anymore, let alone the controversies around who they nominate and the representation.
Well, you know what? You know what this is? This is a golden time for like the Razzies to become like mainstream and like start televising. Like lean into it. Like make these people like what they're okay. How
I mean, the adult video awards.
The AVN, yeah.
No.
Okay, I've got a pitch here. Okay. Hollywood, if you want to get your actors back in everyone's good graces, what you need is to bring back the tone of humility that used to have to be there when you were a rich douche canoe celebrity. You used to have to at least kind of prostrate yourself before your adoring public a little bit so that you seemed human. My favorite example of that is mean tweets. Whenever celebrities would read mean tweets and then just make a really sad face, that was satisfying. When they clap back at some poor dude on Twitter who just wrote something mean to you while you're on like a network television station with millions of people watching, that's not funny. It's not fun.
It was
Nobody wants
cringe,
it.
and you can't argue with that.
So what you need to do, Hollywood, you need to start asking your actors who get nominated for Razzies to actually attend the ceremony and accept the awards and make it a mixture of both half funny, half prostrating yourself before the public. And I bet you that would become a hit. If you actually got the actors and the director to be like, you could have the one who leans into it. He's like, let's be fair. I was drunk most of the time we were making this anyways. Like it can actually be a kind of a surrealist experience where you don't know if they're actually being honest or not. But I feel like there's a strong market for people watching Hollywood not take itself too seriously.
Yeah, there's a reason that you don't hear about controversies of underrepresentation at the Razzies. Because nobody in that crowd wants to be the butt of the joke.
But it would be over-representation.
When, the reality is true assimilation, true representation, true inclusion means everybody can be joked about. Every group, every individual is fair game. It's an equal playing field, and you can make jokes about anyone, about anything you want. That's what it would really mean. But instead, they want to be cry bullies. Now, if anyone cares about award shows, it's old people. Yeah. So I have no idea what the Emmys were thinking, introducing their first annual Children's and Family Emmy Awards.
Which is heavily LGBTQ.
Yes. They did this over the weekend.
James Lindsay has a word for this. I'm not going to use that word here. That would be derogatory.
They hosted this over the weekend with Jack McBrayer from 30 Rock and JoJo Siwa. And it's aimed at kids as young as preschool age up to age 15. So at the beginning of the ceremony, JoJo Siwa introduces herself as a gay icon. She said that she identifies as queer and pansexual, so I'm having a hard time keeping it all straight. But
she kind of looks like the backside of an eclair with facial features.
I mean, this is almost as bad as when you said J.K. Rowling looks like she would sleep with an insurance agent to get better AARP rates. Your highly specific insults.
It's not even an insult. It's fine. So yeah.
I mean, if someone said that I look like that, I would be offended.
I'm not. It's not that I have a problem with JoJo Siwa. I just,
I do.
I have to stand up for Candace Cameron Bure.
I have a problem with JoJo Siwa. Like, I think if any of you remember, tell me. We talked about the Kids' Choice Awards hosted by Nickelodeon, and JoJo Siwa wasn't invited this year. Very shocking and scandalous. And she blamed it on homophobia. Like, she is the definition of like the young crowd, the Gen Z people who like make being LGBT their personality trait.
Which is funny because we talked about yesterday when we were talking about the representation guidelines from GLAAD meant the character in your movie can't make their whole character be about their sexual orientation. Otherwise, they're one-dimensional. So they get to be one-dimensional.
Which is subjective again.
They get to be one-dimensional in real life, but they have to be three-dimensional in the movies. That makes no sense.
Right.
So yeah, she hosted this award show.
Best original song to Sesame Street for one that was performed by Billy Porter, who if you know him from the role of Fabulous Godmother in that abomination that was
with Camila Cabello.
Yeah, Camila Cabello in 2021 Cinderella. Yeah, I'll never forgive him for that, or his bizarre tuxedo nightgown outfit that he loves wearing.
In the chat, just an aside, the Big Sleepy says, I miss Brett's luscious blonde locks. Make Brett blonde again.
Well, if you want to make Brett blonde again, then you're going to have to give us 30 crisis parties.
It would have to be at least 30 crisis parties, and then I would prefer my hair to be longer. I don't want to dye my hair blonde when it's this short, because then I am going to look like Marshall Mathers LP Eminem, and I can't really sing the song Role Model word for word anymore, so I don't think that really works. Yeah. But does this feel like very, very propagandistic, this whole thing?
I don't think that this appeals to actual children. I think that an event like this is about pandering to the adults in the room who are obsessed with indoctrinating children, but will never have children of their own. I mean, this acceptance speech for this song, she shouted out all the LGBTQIA kids, which I don't know what the U stands for. Let me know if you guys are keeping up with that. And then they gave an award to a voice actress from Centaur World, and she talked about growing up queer in a small town. And she said,
ever notice it's always in a small...
this sounds like so propagandistic, where she says, we have the power to create programming that elevates all voices, erases generations of hate, and tells the bullies of the world to go suck it.
While they bully people.
Right.
While they actually bully people. That's the funny thing about it, is they're so good at manipulating language that they can say this stuff, and what it's designed to be so that the average person hears and that sounds nice.
I mean, it's about telling your high school bullies to suck it. It's not about helping elevate the voices of anybody. Yep. It's because you were bullied in school, because you are an outcast of society, and you have pulled the ladder up from behind you to infiltrate the entire entertainment industry, all corners of it, until there is no room left for dissenters because you were uncool, and you're still uncool, and you can't argue with being cringe. Like that's what you are. Everyone can see that.
What is something else they could do? And I'm trying to think of what they could do other than award shows if they wanted to not make the public so annoyed with them.
No. What they want is the public to be annoyed with them.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, it's just like I said, like they're these social rejects who get a weird feeling of satisfaction out of being spiteful and being hated.
They are really,
it's the persecution complex.
One thing I've noticed is that a universal trait of almost everyone in that industry nowadays is there's very little in the way of professionalism. It's all maybe that's just a culture that's been born out of Twitter and the internet, and the fact that when you communicate with people, you're distanced from them. They're not going to clap back to that person when they meet them face to face. They're only going to clap back online, and that's developed a bunch of personality traits amongst rich, famous celebrities. That is there's a lot of disdain for the average person and a lot of self-indulgence and love for oneself. I actually do I used to kind of push back on the notion that look, I know that pride is considered one of the 7 deadly sins, right? But I never understood why people had a problem with people who were different being proud of who they were. But now you see the ugly truth of what becomes of that when it goes completely the opposite direction and too far. There is a sort of fetishization of the idea of being proud of who you are, regardless of whether it actually matters or not.
Well, it's not even just about being proud of who you are. It's about making everyone else celebrate you. It's compelling speech from other people to celebrate you when it goes against their conscience. What gets to me and irritates me the most is when these people get up on a stage at this artificial event and they pretend to be the magnanimous ones and the ones who want unity and love and rainbows and puppies, when really they are the most hateful, spiteful people, and they can't do anything but destroy. They never create anything new. One executive producer in his speech for Heartstopper, he said, with Heartstopper, we wanted the next generation of LGBTQ plus kids to see themselves in a story about queer joy, about love, and about acceptance. And the irony here is that an event like this is about anything but joy, love, and acceptance. It's about spiting the families out there who don't want their children to be introduced to themes like this.
There's a lot of...
It's about like being the surrogate parents of the unsupervised children of this country.
And
basically
pulling them away from them early enough on, because then you've instilled ideological values that run counter to what their parents believe, and you do it at an age early enough that it takes hold quickly, and then they start fighting with them from early on. It is funny too, because they do have the perfect system they've developed in which they get to do it and always come out looking like the good guys. To the average person who doesn't know what's going on, they always come across as the enlightened, smart ones who are just out to make the world a better place, and everyone else looks like the bad guy because of the way they're portrayed.
But every once in a while, they say the quiet part out loud. Like, we have the power to create programming, and
but even that's couched in such like politically correct speak that you don't really understand what they mean when they say that.
It can mean like everything. It's all inclusive and nothing all at once.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.